Hey guys, welcome the to next episode of SidTalks. Today we'll be talking to Dr. Sheetal Nair, who is a doctorate in training and development from North Central University, Arizona, and is an MBA from Symbiosis International University. He's an orator of repute and trainer certified by NSDC. But to cut a long story short, I will let him introduce himself and I'll be inviting him to join the session. And his book will be launching on 1st of July. And we'll be talking about different things. We'll be talking about career, we'll be talking about uh, management, and a lot of stuff. So, uh, yeah, sir is here. Okay, let me see. There are some technical issues. Okay, he's unable to join. Uh, yeah, so he's here. Guys, we'll be taking questions. So keep your questions coming into the. So, hi, welcome, sir. I
Hi,
hope
hi.
the audio and video is clear.
Yeah, perfectly fine. Good.
Yeah, great. So, I was just introducing yourself, uh, and your bio looks very impressive. So I stopped midway because I wanted. Yeah, the audio is clear.
Yeah, audio is clear. Some hanging, but it's okay.
Yeah, I think there is some lag. I was doing it a day ago as well, and we were facing some sort of a lag.
Okay, all right.
So yeah, I was saying that I was checking out your bio and I was introducing you to the people who are joining in, and it's quite impressive. So I stopped in between, and I wanted you to do the introduction yourself.
For
Uh,
myself. Oh,
to
wow.
yeah, because I would not be able to justify that much.
Okay. So, where do I begin? Do I begin from the start, or do I just go from front to back? You can at least guide me in that sense. How do I start off my introduction? Do I start off from the beginning?
Yeah, I think that's the best way to start. Let's
Okay.
start from the beginning.
So technically, see, I'm a science grad. I when I was in 12th standard, I thought that okay, I think I should take science because my parents said no, you have to become a doctor. You have to become a doctor. So I took science, and then like midway, I realized, good lord, I don't nothing about science, and I like barely I passed through, and I think the boards were very kind to me, and they said, okay, let this boy get through. I made it out, and in that time, there was this thing wherein computers were the rage. I mean, they still are, and that was like the earlier times, like you can say 16, 17 years ago. So I did my
Oh,
BCA, and then when I did my BCA, I thought that yes, I want to do computers, and everyone was doing that. But midway I realized कि coding तो आती नहीं है. I mean, it's impossible for me to do coding. It went a bouncer, and then I was lost. So I did not know what to do. And then I met a couple of career counselors, and I come from a very small part of India, which is known as Vadodara. It was a very small town. It was a small town then. It still is small. And to meet a career counselor, we had to like take some time. But finally, I was able to understand that management is my forte. So then I did my MBA with Symbiosis. I worked for some time with Toyota. Worked for a small stint with the United Nations, and then post that I like wanted to do my PhD. So I joined my father. He had a business, so I said, "Okay, I'll join him and I'll initially do my PhD." I did my PhD in training and development. Post that, I did my postgraduate corporate law from IIM Calcutta, and I have I still am actually the master trainer of a couple of government organizations, actually NSDC, National Skill Development Corporation. I am a master trainer with them, two sectors, and I have been a trainer since like I think what 13 14 years now. I've been training, started off as a soft skills trainer. I'm into a number of things now: NLP coaching. I'm part of ICF. I have done my psychology majors from John Hopkins. I have done my learning sciences from I mean, there are a lot of things which I've done. But yeah, eventually I feel that I am a writer. I connect to that part of my life better.
Right. So yeah, that is why I, stopped in between when I was introducing you, because because when you're introducing someone, if you miss out something, that becomes very difficult, for people to connect to. And with your varied background, I think people will have a lot of questions, and we'll be taking the questions as they come in into the chat. And so I'll begin with the questions that I have for you. So the
Sure.
first question was, since you said, that you connect to being a writer the most, how would you describe your journey as a writer? We heard your journey, as a student and then as a trainer. But as a writer, how was the journey?
So as a writer, see, I mean, I was very passionate about writing. I see, you get hooked onto something. Like if you're passionate about food, you get hooked onto food, and you must have, gotten hooked onto food some time ago because of some specific reason, right? So for me, I
Right.
read a book, Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens when I was in school, a long, long time ago, probably when I was fifth or sixth grade. And there was this line in that book. It was the best of the times. It was the worst of times. So the book starts off with that, and I mean, and that's it. I got so hooked onto it that I from that time onwards I said, "Ki I also have to create something which is akin to that." It leaves a huge impact on you. When you read a book, it is like you're going through the journey of the writer, because it is his experience which is being shared, his or her own. I mean, gender specific nahi, but the experience of the author. So you're living the life through the eyes of someone else. And that is something which is crazy. I mean, today's era, yes, you have Instagram, you have Facebook Live, you have so much wherein you can share your thoughts, you have podcasts. At that time, the only thing that you had was books. So I thought that if I can put something on paper and make people see the world the way I see it, what would be the best? And that would be the best thing that can happen. And in a young age itself, I started writing. It started with short stories and short poems. I've gotten published in a number of small, small journals, been published in outside India also. But irrespective of that, that is how I started off my journey. Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, you've written for 6 anthologies, and this is your seventh publication, but it's your first published book.
Yeah.
So, how's the feeling of getting your own book and your name on the cover?
I mean, it's an amazing feeling. I always wanted to have that single name wala book, and but I could. I mean, see, I have been trying to write a full book since eons now. It's been like more than a decade that I start writing a book. So I write a book, I reach to the middle, and then I get bored. होता है ना? A lot of times you get bored with what you're thinking about. You feel that what you're thinking
Exactly.
is amazing, and when you start writing it, and you're like, okay, yeah, amazing, amazing, amazing. And between that, you lose interest, and then you feel like, if I am losing interest, how will I get someone else to be interested in this concept? It doesn't make sense. And that is how I got hooked onto anthologies, and there were like a couple of good friends of mine, Tushti being one of them. So I got introduced to few people, and I started getting my short fiction and non-fiction, stories and write-ups published in the anthologies. Always wanted to have my name in one book, right? So yeah, a lot of credit to Corona, because what happened is COVID-19. I started writing this book. This is basically excerpt of all the training and coaching experience that I've had. So I do a lot of leadership coaching, and this is excerpt of all that. So I started writing this book in January, and by March, Corona struck, and then we all had excess time. A lot of time where you had to allocate things, and that is when I realized that every day, if I was able to allocate like 4 to 5 hours to writing this book, there's a lot of research which has gone into writing this book. This being a non-fiction book, I have had to research like Greek mythologies. There's a lot of inspiration from Homer. There's a lot of inspiration from Seneca. There's a lot of inspiration that I've been able to garner from all these people. Seneca being a major, and Vedas, all the Vedas. So I had to go through that. You won't imagine. A friend of mine had shared Veda ka kuch, an excerpt on WhatsApp in the month of January. So till that time, I was hooked on to Roman philosophy, Greek philosophy. So when I read that Vedic philosophy, I realized that what the Romans are saying is somewhat similar to what the Greek, I mean, the Indian, sages were saying in Vedas. So why can't we correlate that? So I started doing that, and COVID allowed me to do that, and finally I was able to come out with this thing. But The first time Rishi, I think, was the one who designed the book cover. He shared it with me, and it was an amazing feeling to see my name. Okay, so there's a golden thing, a golden finger, and my name below that. So that is when it hit. Okay, I am gonna have a title out, which is gonna be purely belonging to me. So yeah, that is something which I never had in my head. I mean, there are a lot of titles which have me as a co-author. I have done a lot of research work
Right.
again, which me as a co-author. But being doing a PhD, I have my own research work also. But to have a book out is a feeling which, I mean, I'm a man, right? But I can imagine what a mother would feel like when she gives birth to a child. It is akin to that. That's the best way I can, describe this.
That's true. In fact, this like they say, every cloud has a silver lining. This particular 2 3 months have given a lot of people to experience and try out everything that they were postponing and try just finding out time to do.
Yes.
So yeah, that's a pretty positive aspect of a very bad situation, if I can say like that.
Yeah, yeah. True.
Yeah. So moving from the experience of having your own book, how difficult was it to move from writing short stories to your own book?
So, man, I'll not lie. Okay, so what used to happen is when you write a short story, it is what? It's like 6 pages or 7 pages at max, it goes to 10 pages, right? It's not beyond that. So there is amazing feeling that you have something you start off and you bring it to an end and you feel justified because it won't take too much time for you to write a short story. For me to write a short story, if I sit at a stretch for an hour and a half and I have the concepts clear, I'll be able to write it down. What happens in a longer one, a novella or a fictional book, is that there are bits and pieces. So you cannot sit at one go and write the entire thing. And what happens is
Right.
that when you take so much time, you lose the connect. Kahin na kahin, you have your day-to-day life interfering in the book. And your thought process also sometimes get derailed. Because obviously I am a working professional. I do a lot of things other than the book also. And not to say that if you're only writing the book also, your thoughts can get derailed. So that was a huge bottleneck. A lot of times I used to feel that, when I started writing, like I reached 25, 30 or 40 pages, and then I would feel like, is this the right concept? Well, then I'll go back to the drawing board. Then I'll try to think that can this concept be improvised? And that used to take a long time. And इसी के बीच में, during this time only, I would lose interest. Probably it's my nature, but that might be a big drawback. But I used to lose interest in writing that concept could never, formalize. You won't imagine, Siddharth, I have approximately 13 titles, which I have written like 50%. It's still there in my laptop. I do not know what to do ahead with that. I can't do anything. And a lot of times I don't know kya karu. Should I just post it online and say, ki, can someone come and complete the book? I don't know what to do. But when I wrote this, probably again, I due credit to probably COVID or whatever situation was, I was able to translate. So I kept on. And there were a lot of webinars which I was doing in the middle. So that also used to keep on inspire me to come back and do the work. So probably these
Right.
factors allowed me to seamlessly connect and finish this. यानी ये पूरा कर पाया. Otherwise, probably this also halfway I would have gotten bored and backed out maybe.
So I think your idea of a crowdsourced novel is something quite innovative, and you should try it.
I
Maybe
really want.
we'll get a good out of it.
I really wanna. I mean, I've bounced this idea with a lot of friends of mine. I was like, see, I know I have written something. I have written something to a part. I would like someone else also to share their experience. So what an amazing concept. So I look at this finger from this perspective. You can look at this from this, and in reality, we get a 3D image out. But then होता है यार,
Right. Right.
I do not know how much that content will be safe. Plagiarism is galore. I have no clue. So डर भी लगता है. Should I post it?
Right.
Should I not post it? So yeah, that's there.
Right. Yeah. Maybe that's a thought we could always try at one
Yeah,
point
yeah,
of
but
time.
crowdsourcing with, I mean, like-minded people would be an amazing idea. And if people can come
Right.
together, it's not an anthology, right? It's a fiction novel wherein you have 3 to 4 people contributing to the same concept. It's amazing.
Right. Right. Right.
So,
That's true. Uh, so coming back to your book, The Midas Touch, what was the thought process that went behind the entire concept of writing it? Like you mentioned that you got a message that that triggered the entire book.
yeah.
So apart from that, you said the idea was already there. How did that, idea germinate?
So when you go online on Facebook or LinkedIn or any social media, you would see that there are a lot of training programs being conducted by a lot of big organizations. You can name Dale Carnegie, you can name any big multi-million dollar company in US or India doing training programs on a term which is known as leadership. It is an abused term, heavily abused term. Everyone wants to become a leader, and everyone feels that you undergo certain training and you'll come out of the training, you'll suddenly become Narendra Modi, or you'll become probably a very good leader, you'll become Mukesh Ambani, and you'll suddenly, with a snap of fingers, become an amazing leader. But this doesn't happen in reality. So in the past 10, 14 years that I've been training, I am lucky enough that I got on board and I was able to train in Tata Sons also. So I have seen a lot of trainings happening of leadership. I see how people change, and I realize that in reality, what companies, organization, and human beings also. It is not only organizations. Between you and me also, if there is a situation that we both are facing, I would like you to lead or you would like me to lead. To just ensure that this situation gets resolved. So what I realized is everyone wants to have not just a leader, but actually they are looking for champions. So why stick to creating leaders? Why not try to make them champions? So who is a champion? What is the difference between a champion and a leader? I mean, to a few of you, people might say that, okay, champion and leader, same thing. There is no difference. But it's apples and oranges. Technically speaking, you would say that Sachin is a champion, right? Sachin was not a great captain. He was not a great leader,
Right.
but he was a champion. To have Sachin in the team would mean that you would be an amazingly strong unit. You agree? Cricket usually
Right.
resonates as an example with everyone in India. So Sachin is a
Right.
champion. Sachin is not a leader. So why focus on creating MS Dhoni, or why focus on creating people who can lead the team? Why not focus also on people who are champions, who people would love to have in their team? So that is how this thought came. And I went ahead of creating a leader. Now, I was always fascinated with the Greek legend of King Midas. You know the King Midas, right? Whatever he touched, he got a boon or a bane, whatever it is. Whatever he touched used to turn into gold. So I wanted to correlate that as a leader, you have so much experience, so much responsibility to do. बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो आपको करनी है. There are like crazy amount of shit that needs to be done. But as a leader, you cannot just do everything. As a champion, you can focus on one thing and you can just clear that and make it a gold, and then the leader probably can pick it up and make it a larger picture. So I said, stop at leader, let us create champions. So those people who are stuck at leadership positions, we create champions. And there are a lot of technical theories which I have incorporated in the book, right from the basic communication to people management to internal management. A lot of internalization needs to be done. Like if you need to reach a position, you yourself have to be clear, you have to be sorted in your mind. So if you are a reviewer, you have to be sorted in your mind as to what sort of audience is listening to you, how you will come across, because it is not just the author but you also, your impression matters. So similarly, a champion also needs to think as to what brand he is trying to create. So that is how this thought process went, and I was able to correlate this. Now Midas is something which I have been working on for the past 3.5 years. That is a training program. So in that training program, I teach people to become, to have the Midas touch. I have done it with few French and multinational companies. I was able to do that with one US company also. Now, wherein I taught them leadership, but a step beyond leadership. So those things collaborated, and in combination, I was able to come out with this book.
Right. Quite an interesting story, relating different, if I can say, legends to, present situations and getting inspired by them. Uh, so I read the blurb of the book since the book is not yet available. Just to pitch in, it's releasing on 1st of July. So I was reading the blurb of the book, and you talk about alchemy. So I wanted to know, what does the word alchemy mean for you? Because it's a very subjective term, and I have heard different people, give different perspectives on alchemy.
True. So, like what I feel, in this entire universe, you and me exist, and the reason for us to exist is chemistry. So, molecules interacting, people talking to each other, or whatever it comes to, it boils down to the basic fundamental of chemistry. right? So if there is chemistry between you and your, I don't know if you're dating or you're married, I'm just guessing. If at all there is a chemistry between you and your girlfriend or your spouse, so you would have a very good relationship. It all boils down to the chemistry that you have, right? Now, what I wanted to understand is what alchemy means to me is alchemy for me is not trying to turn into gold. I mean, alchemy, the moment the word comes alchemy and people start correlating to the alchemist, Paulo Coelho said, alchemist, everything that turns into gold. And that's like the age old thing. People are all trying to find that what is that pathar known as, I'm forgetting, paras money, right? I mean, our legends talk about paras money, whatever paras money is to touch and it turns to turn into gold. So for me, alchemy is chemistry, that basic formula that is there which can create excellence. See, everyone is excellent. It is just that kabhi kabhi, that is at the right time you get the right thing, and the moment you hit the right thing, you are in your zone.
Right.
That zone, that zone is alchemy, and that is the zone that I want people to achieve. And the only way I feel that they can achieve is if they are able to fine tune the exact chemistry that they have. So I told like I started off as a coder, but down the line I realized that coding is something which I'm not good at. I realized management is my thing, and I was able to understand people management skills were good for me. So that was my chemistry. I found it, and because I was able to found it 10 odd years ago, I have been able to create a professional career for. So for me, this is what alchemy means.
So basically, you are transforming from a person who is like spread around to focus on your forte and your point only. So
Yeah,
that's your point of alchemy.
yeah.
So I
One.
think that's a very good perspective. Yeah. Uh, a lot of people and a lot of friends of mine, we were talking about that, the lockdown period was used for self improvement. So what was the one thing that you tried during the lockdown that you have never done before?
What I've never done before. Okay, okay. This is nice. So
Something new, anything.
no, no. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I see. I am a person. No, I do a lot of coaching, and amongst the coaching, I do something known as the pursuit of mindfulness. So I have a batch of students, of professionals, of working professionals, whom I take along with me on a journey. We have WhatsApp groups, we have Zoom or Google calls and stuff, and I teach them mindfulness. Now, during this period of COVID-19, I realized that mindfulness meant I tell them to meditate. But a lot of times, people, see, as I said, I come from a very small city known as Vadodara. It's like 15-20 kilometer mein khatam ho jata hai. It's as good as, traveling from Mulund to Ghatkopar probably. It gets over. So it's like a teeny weeny thing. So for me to meditate might be very easy. But people who stay in Bangalore or New York, I know there's so much crowd there. How do they meditate? And during this COVID-19 period, while I was writing this book and doing mindfulness, I created my own technique of meditation, which is known as Sahaj mindfulness. So there are three
Okay.
stages of that, and I have been able to teach my students how to meditate wherever they are. If you're sitting right there, you can meditate. If you're standing at a place, you can stand and meditate. So that is the best thing, and you can control your anger, you can control your blood pressure. I mean, you can do a lot of things purely by Sahaj meditation. It's Sahaj mindfulness. It's basically a three-step technology. Technology, I call it technology, but it's three-step technique which I have been able to design. So that is something which is I
Right.
don't think anyone else would have done probably.
That's actually quite interesting. And, this particular technique of meditating while standing or, while sitting can be very useful, in transit when you're traveling in metro or, office cab or something.
So
That's something that can be done easily.
so a lot of my students, and they usually go to commute to work. So like let's say in Delhi, Gurgaon, they are traveling from one place to another. It takes like an hour and a half. In an hour and a half, I ask them, "तुम क्या करते हो?" So Netflix, Facebook, Amazon Prime, Z5, Balaji, whatever. So that is their time pass. Or if someone who's slightly intellectual will go on a Blinkist, will get a Spotify, listen to podcast. But that nourishes you mentally. Yes, it does. But does that give you peace of mind? It doesn't. So I always used to say that why don't you get into meditation? And they used to keep on telling me, "यार meditation करना बड़ा मुश्किल है. How will you meditate in a going train? You cannot sit and say Om एक तो like the माहौल इतना खराब है ना, the people like suddenly you start saying oh, and you will like, oh, religious fundamentalist, he is trying to propagate his religion here. No, anything can happen. So for this, so I wanted to create a technique which is very simple. Anyone can do it. It doesn't matter if you're a Hindu, you're a Muslim, you're a Christian, you're a Jew. It doesn't matter. There is no Om. There is no, Om Mane Padme Hum, Buddhist chanting. Nothing. No chanting at all. It is purely numbers and breathing. So that's what I wanted to do. Make it as simple as possible.
Right. That's actually very interesting. And isn't a part of your book?
Sorry?
Is the meditation technique a part of your book, The Midas Touch?
Not this one. That is for this next book.
That's for the next book. Okay. So we are plugging in the second book as well. Great.
Yeah.
So, you do a lot of career counseling as well. So, what do you think are the skills, that have become important post-COVID?
So yeah, I mean, COVID-19 has created a lot of unrest amongst people because, see, I'll tell you what, a lot of companies have resorted to WFH, that is work from home. When they resorted to work from home, they would have realized that there are a lot of excess costs. Like I do a lot of counseling with companies, and they keep on telling me there's a lot of excess cost which is there in the building, which is there, creating an infrastructure. So they have all shifted to remote location working. Now, remote location working, what happens is there are a lot of skill sets which have become obsolete. People will suddenly feel that their jobs are at a risk. So I consult with a couple of companies which are into facility management, IFMS. They do complete integrated facility management for organizations, huge organizations from MasterCard to Bridgestone to a lot of companies. Now, therein they see that there are a lot of staff reduction which is happening. And what I feel that there are a lot of online courses. I myself did 27, 29 online certification courses during the COVID-19 stick. But other than this online skill sets that you can create, you should create one basic skill set, that is you have to create self-belief. You have to internalize yourself. I mean, this is something which I personally feel like we have all forgotten. Uh, I mean, maybe going off topic, but I'll tell you what. I mean, who do you feel, Siddharth, is one of the most richest person in India that you admire? सबसे अमीर. You name a person, and you admire that person. Any person.
Mr. Ambani?
Brilliant. So Mukesh Ambani, obviously Reliance Jio is as it is selling so much stake, so you admire Mukesh Ambani. Now Mukesh Ambani being a Gujju, his favorite food is khichdi and curry, right? You probably must have also had khichdi. खाते हो खिचड़ी कड़ी खाई है कभी? Right? Now I'll tell you what. Mukesh Ambani sitting in Antilia, huge. Okay, you can only dream to watch it from outside. I don't think I'll ever get to watch it from inside. Mukesh Ambani sitting in Antilia is having his favorite dish, which is khichdi and curry. And Siddharth is sitting in his home and having khichdi and curry. Tell me, what is the difference between Mukesh Ambani's khichdi curry and your khichdi curry? Is there any difference?
No.
It is the same. So, what is the difference whether that a multi-million-dollar guy is having khichdi curry and you? Nothing. So, the basic requirement is always same for all of us. It is always same. It is that external requirement, जो wants, so needs and wants का difference है. So, people have a lot of wants in their life and their basic necessity. Having a phone is a need. Right. Having an iPhone is a want. क्या जरूरत है? You can call from a normal phone also, right? Not a Chinese phone, an Indian phone. You can call from an Indian phone also, right? So that thing, I feel that during COVID-19, you got a lot of time to spend alone in your house with your family, and therein you should develop this one skill set. Try to differentiate, get the ability of differentiating between your needs and your wants, and focus at that. And create a skill set that today I know that if I do not have a job, I will never lose my basic needs because I know I am skilled enough to get a job which can sustain for me. So I'm very strong. नो वो कहते हैं ना, आई थिंक वो आई डोंट नो विच मूवी का डायलॉग, सिंघम का डायलॉग है, मेरी जरूरतें कम है इसलिए मुझ में दम है. अजय देवगन आई गेस, राइट? सिंघम डायलॉग, मेरी जरूरतें बहुत कम है इसलिए मुझ में दम है. सो इट इज समथिंग लाइक दैट. Focus on your basic necessities and then you'll suddenly realize you're such a confident person. You don't need to lie. You don't need to cheat. You don't need to fake relationships. You do not need to, do anything which you're not happy to do. Do everything that you like to do. That is what I feel like we should all develop.
Right. So that's a really good perspective, in the current time, especially because that's become very important. And so, what were your takeaways from your different academic experiences and professional experiences? Since you have done different academic courses as well as you have, played different roles in the corporate as well. So, how was the experience different from each other, and what were the key takeaways?
So I have been very lucky because I have had the role of an employee. I have worked as an employee. I have run my own company. I have been an entrepreneur. I have run my own cafe. So I can say that I'm a hotelier, or a restaurateur, whatever you call it. I have been a teacher. I have taught in universities. So I have that experience. I have been on at par that I have learned at Harvard. I mean, I feel that it is one of the highest, point of education that you can achieve. I've had the good fortune of, learning from Harvard. I have had the good fortune of learning from IIMs, and I have had the good fortune of, being around my family for so much time. So the varied experiences which I can share with you is, as a teacher, what takeaway that I got is that you need to be always in time. So if I am teaching in 2020, I should realize what is the need of a student in 2020. Because when I was a student and I was taught techniques or technology or theories which are obsolete altogether, like India mein to altogether obsolete ho gaya. Khatam. Nothing there happening in India. Right? But we are taught here. US mein they are already teaching something which is two levels higher, and we in India are following the
Right.
same absolute techniques and technologies. I feel that as a faculty, as a teacher, I should be honest to my students. So I have been lucky. I create my own courses. I'm on the board of studies of a university here. So I have been able to tailor make a course which is very much relevant in time. So my takeaway is be relevant as a teacher. You have to be relevant. As a
Right.
trainer, होता क्या है, you feel that if you speak good English, मतलब oh amazing trainer, you are a best trainer. Why? Because you are good in English. No, that is a reality. So like all trainers, my own fraternity, I'll tell this. The only way you just go and ask a 21-year-old boy, what are you doing? I'm a trainer. What sort of trainer? I'm a soft skill trainer. He won't understand soft skills purely because he is from an English medium. Probably he's been educated in a what do you call that, in a really high elite school, and he has really good friend circle who keep on talking and chatting in English. You suddenly feel that you are good in a trainer's situation. So मैं भी उसी boat पे था. Let me be very honest with you. So what happened is I became a trainer with the government of India. I was working as a vice president at NSDC, one of the sector skill councils, and then got an opportunity to go and train in Northeast. So I went and trained in Assam. Now understand one thing. They understand English, but their English is not exactly, you cannot be really fluent. They won't understand that. They will not understand Hindi.
Right.
Okay, and I do not know the local dialect. So I, as a trainer, suddenly realized, without language, how do you train? My key takeaway was, as a trainer, you should have modules which do not focus merely on the verbal techniques. You should have different body languages. You should have case studies, which probably you can videos which you can show and share. So my takeaway as a trainer was, you have to focus on a plethora of needs. Don't just focus if you are very good, you're good at making PPTs, like mind blowing PPTs you make, but that's it. I'm a good trainer because I make good PPTs. I talk really well. I'm a good looking guy or a good looking girl, so that's it. I'm a good trainer. That doesn't work in reality. So that was my takeaway as a trainer. As an employee and as an entrepreneur, I was lucky because I was able to go both the sides of the coin. As an employee, I used to feel that, यार मेरा employer मुझे कम pay करता है, he doesn't pay me on time, my increments aren't good, and यार I should get a facility, I should have a cafeteria, I should have an Nescafe. CCD की coffee क्यों नहीं मिलती office में? Why is he serving me simple, sunrise coffee? As an employee, I used to feel so much bad. What's happening? And as an employer, I feel that, yeah, I'm giving so much to my employee, yet I am not able to generate so much, not income, but at least faithfulness, from the employee. As an employer, in reality, you go and ask any entrepreneur, any leader, what he or she wants from the employee. Nothing. All they want is that the employee should be faithful towards the job and the brand that the employer has given the employee.
Correct.
So From both the sides,
Right.
I had a takeaway that you should always look at the other side also. Put yourself in someone else's shoe and see, if I am an employee, I would have to think of so many things. So if I am an employer, I have to think of so many things. So दोनों case में put yourself in other person's shoes and then judge your employment also. During COVID-19, a lot of
Right.
people have not gotten increments. So at that time, I keep on telling in my counseling sessions to think of your employer. How is he generating income? Can he substantiate that? Can you give some additional help? Do not merely crib that मेरे employer ने मुझे increment नहीं दिया है. So you should be lucky if on the first of the day your phone rings and you get a message stating that you have been paid. Trust me, I know so many people who have not been paid for 3 months. So yeah, these are few takeaways which I have.
Nice. So I think that's very interesting aspects from different angles. Uh, I'll talk about your writing process. So a lot of writers have very different processes. Some of them, prepare a storyline and then flesh out the details, while some of them, write the ending first and then go backwards. And some have like boards and everything. So what's your writing process?
My writing process. Okay, so as I shared with you, मेरे पास already 15 तो हैं, 50% वाले. 50% I've already stuck at 15. Okay. So my writing process was different for everyone. And today, I mean, I've been lucky that when I wrote this book, I realized this. For me, I have to have the flesh of the book first. So eventually, I need to know what the book should be conveying. So the end needs to be very clear. That is the key takeaway. So the key takeaway of this book is to create champions. So I knew that once the reader finishes the book, he or she needs to be able to understand the concept of creating champions, either for themselves or for someone else. The moment I was able to do that out, I was able to do a research. You have to do a lot of research for non-fiction. So I was able to understand, for me to reach, let's say I'm traveling from Mumbai to Delhi. How will you travel from Mumbai to Delhi? You can go by air, you can go by train, you can go by road. Ship is not possible, obviously. So you have three ways. So you are very clear as to how you can reach that place. For me, I knew that I had to link two different philosophies. That is the Greek philosophy and the Vedic philosophy. And in order to do that, I have to
Right.
club and move on so that I can reach this process. So for me, the process was very simple. End का takeaway define कर लिया. Once I've done that, I go back and try to meet out theories which can help me take people along with me in the journey to the point of creating alchemy. So yeah, that was what it was.
Right. So, while writing, do you prefer pen to paper or the typewriter or typing on the laptop? What's your preferred way?
So I love to write on a paper. I really use really nice fountain pens. I think I'm one of the old breeds alive. I still use a fountain pen to write. So I love to write, but hota kya hai na, when the thoughts come into your head, it is easier for you to type. For me, this is very personal. Even though I love to write on a piece of paper, and the feeling that you get when you smell the paper and you write on it is something which I cannot compare with typing on a keyboard. But the speed
Right.
which I can translate my thoughts onto a keyboard, onto the screen of a laptop, I feel gives me a slight bent towards typing. And nowadays, so obviously, we have that audio thing also. You can just dictaphone sort of a thing. You can dictate and it types for you. So yeah, I am having that bent towards typing.
Right. So that's, I think, the times that require you to move from pen paper to typing.
True.
What are you what are you reading currently during the lockdown?
So I basically am reading two books. I was reading two books. One was The Social Contract. It's a book by Rousseau. I don't know if people have heard of that book. The French philosopher Jean Rousseau, who has written a book known as Social Contract, which talks about how man today is chained not by anything else or by his thoughts. Also, it is by society. So, like when you're born, automatically there is a contract which is established between your parents and you, because you're born to your parents, and that's a contract which exists. And that contract, you know what a contract is. There's a consideration. Two parties are there. There has
Right.
to be consideration where you have to give. And
Right.
imagine this. Imagine the same contract is there between your parents. Your parents and you have this contract, and that contract is a social contract. So that's what the book talks about. It's an amazing book, and this has been written ages ago. 200-300 साल पहले लिखी हुई book है, but it is still relevant today. And I was like amazed, someone suggested to me, a professor of mine from US. He said you should read Social Contracts, a very nice book. And I was reading Seneca. I still am reading a book by Seneca known as On the Shortness of Life. I don't know if people know about Seneca. He's a very, very interestingly great philosopher. He's written amazing books. So that I was reading, and this both got clubbed, and the concepts are mind blowing. It's a very thin book, but I am unable to read more than 2 to 3 pages a day because it is too hard for you to go on. Like, there are so many things that suddenly come into your mind. The first thing that came into your mind is that book says that your parents and you have a contract. And for me, that was like, okay, what does that mean? So stuff like that. Yeah. So that's what I'm reading today.
Right. Apart from reading, what are your hobbies? Let's move to the Know Your Author section.
So what are your hobbies? So, like, I'll tell you what, I am a very hardcore foodie. I love to cook. I have like 3 to 4 cafes in this place where I am. So I love to spend time cooking food and trying to create new dishes. I love to talk. So that probably you must have realized by, when we started talking, I love to talk. So you can say that is a hobby of mine only. Matlab, I do that. So I do a lot of webinars. I do a lot of sessions, online sessions with people. I try to spend a lot of time there. And I'm a voracious reader. Not like a voracious reader, like not like those CEOs who gobble like 4 books a week. Utna to nahi ho pata. But I read a book. I try to finish a book a week. Like fiction and non-fiction. Non-fiction ज़्यादा चलता है. So I try to keep a balance. So yeah, these 2 to 3 things are my hobbies, you can say. And yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I am a VC, I'm a venture capitalist. I try to invest in companies and organizations which are really small. I try to nurture them. I've been able to do that with 2, 3 companies. So that sort of keeps me really happy.
Right. Also, I have been to Vadodara, and one thing that stands out when you enter the city of Vadodara is that that graffiti on the railway station which says "Welcome to the city of crocodiles."
Yeah.
So, have you had experience of that?
Of a crocodile, I think no one in Baroda can say that he or she has no had a experience of crocodiles. So crocodiles are there everywhere here. So I'll share an experience to you. So I had gone to Sri Lanka with my family, and we had gone for a break, and I had clubbed it with a training session. And we went to break, and the guy took us to a wildlife sanctuary. Okay. And we went there looking at animals and all, and he took us and he showed us, look at this. This is a crocodile. And like me and my family were saying, what do you mean this is a crocodile? I mean, we see this like every second day in our hometown. You pass a bridge and look downstairs, there's a crocodile. There are rains, the crocodiles are there in people's houses. Even crocodiles go inside people's houses. I mean, how can you show crocodiles to us? So yeah, I mean, every Vadodarian, everyone from Vadodara would have seen a crocodile, and I think probably it's like second to us. I can't say it's the national animal or what do you call it, district animal of Vadodara, but yes, it is the city of crocodiles.
Yeah, because that was one thing that stood out for me, because that's not something that you usually see on a railway station when you walk out of the station and there's a big graffiti.
So I'll tell you what, Vadodara's name became Vadodara because there were a lot of banyan trees here. So that is how the name Vadodara came. But due to the changes in environment, we lost all the banyan trees. Now the only thing that we can hold on to today is the crocodiles which are there. I mean, that is something which even the district administration, the state administration is trying to create. So they are planning to create a natural sanctuary wherein the crocodiles remain in the river and the river becomes a complete live sanctuary. So that is happening here. So we are very fond of the crocs, even though we are very scared of the crocs also. I mean, like if at all we have an IPL team, it will be probably Vadodara Crocodiles. I mean, Vadodara Crocs, go Crocs.
Crocs. Yeah, so that's something that's that's very unique about each city. You when you visit a city, you will find something that's very quirky, and that makes that city unique in itself. So just one last question I have to the people who are watching the live session. What is your message to the people?
What is my message to the people? My message to the people is please go online on the 1st of July, buy the book. read it, let me know what it is about. No, but honestly speaking, I'll tell you what, other than the sales pitch, see, don't read the book as something which, will do anything extraordinary for you. Read the book for one specific thing. If you feel that in your life, you wanted to be a leader, you felt as if you wanted to do something which stood out in the world, read the book, and I assure you, this book is there for everyone, right from a student to a faculty, to someone who's doing a business, to everyone. This book will stand out, and there is a takeaway for every individual. There are really small chapters. It is only a 99-page book, because trust me, I read a lot of non-fiction. I have realized कि नींद बहुत जल्दी आ जाती है. तो बेहतर है you don't extend it, don't stretch it out. Kept it very thin. I've ensured that no chapter goes for more than 3 to 4 pages. So you finish a chapter and you have a takeaway. But it is like a T20. Imagine you're watching a T20 match, and that T20 match gratifies you. So read 2 to 3 pages and you will have a takeaway. That I have not seen any book as of date. I am not boasting about this, but my personal experience रहा है कि if you are able to have something like this, na, people's attention span is reduced. Right? I mean, people don't like to watch something for a really long time. Aajkal on Facebook also, if you really see a long video, you will quit it. I mean, you will not watch the entire thing. 1.5 2 minutes and like you're bored. So this book also tries to focus at that point, that I don't want people to be bored. I don't want people to have a lot of jargons bouncing over their head. I want them to focus on very simple things, and the takeaways will be only 2 to 3 pages. So that is what I think people will get to know once they read the book. And yes, once it hits the stands, I would love to hear the reviews. And yeah, please reach out to me.
Definitely. How was your experience working with flipping pages?
So yeah, Tushti, I have known Tushti for a long time, and there are a lot of things that I'll tell you a small history. At one time I was very active on social media. This is 2 years ago, when I used to do a lot of Facebook. I had a lot of followers on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. And at that time I used to be a book reviewer, just like you were, like long time ago. And at that time I was like in touch with Tushti, and I have bounced off this book idea with Tushti. I used to click na, मैं चालू कर रहा हूँ, I'm gonna write it and I'll share it with you. And like as I said, like 1 month, half month down the line, book gone, and connect with Tushti. Tushti being very kind that she is, that she would not connect back with me also. So now when I was able to finish this, the first person I reached out was Flipping Pages, because Tushti is there and I am very comfortable with her. I knew that, whatever needs that I have. So I have written a lot of anthologies. So you can say that I am a newbie when it comes to writing, getting one single product out. And as a newbie, it is very important for you to have a finished product which has a good audience. So how much ever good your product is, your product is amazing. So Apple ka iPhone Pro Max is amazing. But till the time it is not projected, the 4 P's of marketing, promotion, pricing, placement, and those things are not done properly, it will never work out. And with Flipping Pages, I knew that this would happen. And trust me, we have been bouncing ideas since past 1 month. She has guided me a lot. I have been able to fine tune the book. With Flipping Pages has coordinated a lot, right from the cover page to the proofreading to the acknowledgement part. They have helped a lot. So the experience has been amazing, and I personally would suggest Flipping Pages to a lot of my co-authors who would want to come across as good authors also. Yeah, that's what Flipping Pages is to me.
Yeah, so we have a question from Dheeraj. He is asking, can you discuss absorbing information online? For instance, like this live video.
So can you discuss
I think he wants to talk about
information online, for instance, like this video? Okay. So I'll tell you what. Food. Imagine food, like you are going to have food, khana kha rahe ho, and you go to a fast food joint and you order a burger, and you get that burger and you just munching on it. And you consume food, right? Now, once you've consumed that food, then you go, and I'm not comparing maa ka khana, that is irresponsible. Kuch comparison hi nahi hai, so not doing that. So you have that fast food ka burger, you've eaten, right? In that circumstances, बहुत सारा मस्त lighting है, बहुत सारी बढ़िया सी आवाजें आ रही है, pretty people sitting around you. That automatically जो taste है ना burger का, that is alleviated. ये notice करना, इस चीज पे हमेशा ध्यान दीजिएगा. Alleviate हो गया है. अब वही बर्गर टेक अवे करना, ठीक है, घर जाके या अपनी गाड़ी में अकेले बैठ के खाना, हैव दैट बर्गर सिटिंग अलोन इन योर कार, you will suddenly realize the taste is not there, and then what will you do? You will say that यार वो गरम था ना, तो गरम गरम वहां पे खाने में मजा आता है. It's not the case. What actually happens is the environment that is surrounding you, matters a lot. Now when it comes to absorbing information, I spoke about absorbing nutrients. Now when it comes to absorbing information also, in today's world, as I said, the attention span is reducing gradually, it is falling down. I think American Psychology Association used to say that it is 7.5 minutes. An adult mind can absorb information continuously till 7.5 minutes. In today, when I did my course from John Hopkins, now they're teaching us that it is fallen down to 2.5 minutes. 7.5 say 2.5 minutes. So what do these live videos and stuff like this do is you have a visual aid which is giving you. So right now when you're looking at this video, you're visually absorbing knowledge. तुम्हारे auditory senses are also elevated. You're absorbing knowledge via your ears also. So the only sense that is not being used is your mouth, but eyes and ears are altogether working. So absorbing knowledge via online media is the best, right? If you can see videos, short videos, you will be able to absorb knowledge really well, and it will last longer to you. आपके दिमाग में ये चीजें ना ज्यादा रहेंगी. You listen to a podcast. I listen to podcast daily. I ensure that a day never goes without me listening to the Mahabharata, without listening to Sadhguru. 2.5, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever it is. One verse, one chapter, one adhyay. That remains with me for a long, long time. So these media stays with you. For reading a book, what happens is you have to spend a lot of time and peace of mind. And times are changing. And you will see that a lot of media will also change. You will find books getting thinner. You will find that people are trying to write thinner, crisper books, because now people don't really want to spend a lot of time to read. मूवीज से ज्यादा लोगों को सीरीज में इंटरेस्ट है, बिकॉज मूवी 2-2.5 घंटे में खत्म हो गई है, दैट्स इट, खत्म. सीरीज में कैसा है, मैं एक एपिसोड देखा, आई एम सेटिस्फाइड, नेक्स्ट एपिसोड आई कैन वॉच अगेन, वो कंटिन्यूएशन भी सेट हो गया. सो स्टफ लाइक दैट. सो दैट इज व्हाट आई फील. आई होप आई हैव बीन एबल टू
Right.
आंसर योर क्वेरी.
Yeah, because even I have been noticing, a lot of writers have come up with microfiction during the lockdown period, and they're like releasing chapters weekly. 30, 35 pages ka ek book hai, they release it on a Saturday, then the next part comes on another Saturday. So that keeps the continuation going. I think that's the web series version of a novel.
Yes. So I'll tell you what I mean. That 50% ka book that I've written, I had this idea, if I actually upload it and let people read, I probably their comments can inspire me to write the next chapter. I do not know. I mean, this is something which is there in the head. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's something we should definitely explore, and I think flipping can help us a lot in that. So there are no more questions coming in, and it was a pleasure talking to you. And I look forward to the book coming out on 1st of July. And I really hope that we get to read it really soon. And there are some major takeaways from that.
Thank you, thank you. You've been really kind. You've been a nice host to me. Thank you, thanks a lot. Had lovely interaction with you. Amazing. Thank you.
Same here. Thank you for joining in.
Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you guys for joining in. Do check out the book. It's coming out on 1st of July, The Midas Touch by Dr. Sheetal Nair.